everyone. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation on the mental health experiences of immigrant women in Canada who participate in an art-based study. First of all, I will introduce the topic and then review the literature related to the concepts. And then I will discuss two theoretical frameworks and review the relevant literature to those theoretical frameworks. And then I will discuss my doctoral research project. Migration is potentially a stressful process and may have negative impacts on the mental health of immigrants in general, and immigrant women specifically, because they have to face migratory-related challenges as well as gender-related challenges. However, social support is found as being beneficial for their mental health. Engagement with art has also been found as having a positive impact on their mental health. The combination of social support and engagement with art may occur in the form of community arts programs. There are many community art programs across Canada, and some have reported on the nature of their programs and experiences of their participants. However, there's a few number of Canadian-based scholarly literature in this field, which justifies the significance and importance of conducting this study. So the guiding question for my literature review was, how do newcomer women's experiences of creating art and exchanging social support within a community group setting in Canada impact their mental health? I conducted a narrative review and excluded any thesis or dissertation. First of all, I will discuss the findings of the literature review related to mental health among this population. Then I will discuss how social support can be related to their mental health. And then I will discuss how art and community art may be related to their social support and mental health. With regards to mental health, the literature discusses that there are three main factors contributing to the mental health of this population. Micro-level factors refer to individuals' characteristics such as their age or gender or culture. Meso-level factors refer to factors that connect individuals with their immediate environment, for example, resilience or acculturation. And macro-level factors refer to broad social, cultural, economic, and political factors that impact the mental health of this population in different ways. Social support can be achieved through informal resources such as family members or friends, or in the form of or through formal resources such as family physician, mental health professional, or settlement service providers. Art has been found as being beneficial for the mental health of those who engage with it and create artworks in its own right, because it's a space for expressing thoughts and feelings and telling stories. It's an avenue toward financial empowerment by creating artworks and selling them, and it's a medium for learning about mental health symptoms and how to deal with them. Community arts also are beneficial because they're a platform for expressing values, beliefs, and sharing stories. And it's a space for practicing previously learned or learning new artistic skills. And it's an opportunity for developing coping strategies by listening to each other and boosting resilience, and an opportunity for making friends and developing networks as support resources. So the literature review showed that immigrant women show a higher level of mental health during their first years of living in Canada. However, their mental health status gradually declines. But there's a gap in understanding diverse factors contributing to their mental health. But literature suggests that community art-based research could help bridge this gap and help us learn more about the mental health of this population and how to adequately and appropriately support their mental health related needs. To learn more about these topics, I use logotherapy, which means healing through meaning. So meaning is very significant, important in this theory, and it refers to something or someone other than and beyond the one, him or herself. It can be a task to be accomplished or a person to be encountered lovingly. And all situations in life have meanings that needs to be discovered and fulfilled. And there's a primary motivation in every single individual to do so. So we all have will to meaning, to discover meanings and fulfill them, and in that sense transcend ourselves. And we're all free to do so regardless of our situations in life, and we're all responsible to go through that process. So logotherapy focuses on individuals and their immediate environment. To go beyond that, I also use ecological systems theory that considers the individual and their environment at different levels. It considers 5 nested circles, starting from microsystem and moving outwardly to include meso, exo, macro, and chronosystems. Macrosystem refers to immediate environment of individuals, such as their families, children's school, or their workplaces. And mesosystem refers to the connections and relationships between different microsystems. Exosystem does not include individuals directly, but impact their lives. It refers to rules and policies and important organizations in the society and how they manage the society. Macro system refers to broad social, cultural, economic, and political factors contributing to the mental health of individuals at different levels and in different ways. Chronosystem refers to the significance of time and space, and it refers to the significance of the history of individual and the history of the society and the laws. For example, with regards to immigrants, it refers to the history of immigration law in Canada. With regards to microsystem, marital relationships, relationship between partners or couples, and having a supportive or unsupportive partners are very influential on the mental health of immigrant women in Canada. Also, relationship with other family members, for example, children, parents, and parent-in-laws, responsibility towards them, and receiving or not receiving support from them should be taken into account. Relationship with other community members and receiving or not receiving support from them also should be considered. And with regards to mesosystem, the relationships within the family between, for example, couples and their children should be considered when studying these topics. And also relationship between the family and the children's school, or the family and other individuals or other families within the community should be taken into account when studying the mental health of this population. With regards to ecosystem, access or inaccess to workplace or educational opportunities should be taken into account. Access or inaccess to healthcare services, especially mental health care services, are very important. And the existence and the use of settlement services, given the language and cultural background of immigrant women, also support in specific cases, for example, in intimate partner violence or domestic violence should be considered. With regard to a macro system, the existence of neoliberalism and patriarchy as a global issue, also a Canadian issue, should be taken into account. Exposure to racism and discrimination and the extent to which these women are exposed to these kinds of experiences are important. The level of religiosity and spirituality and access and use of those relevant services should be taken into account as well. With regards to a chronosystem, The historical trajectory of immigration law in Canada and the current use of the point system has been found as having significant impact on the current situation of immigrant women, and their level of mental health should be taken into account. Also, the increase in Islamophobia, also anti-Asian racism, all are important. Technology also is very important, because through the use of technology, these women have maintained their connections with their loved ones, including family members and friends across the world. So the literature review related to these two theories show that logotherapy and ecological systems theory can be critically interwoven to explain the mental health experiences of immigrant women in Canada. So my doctoral research questions are: how do immigrant women in Southern Ontario conceptualize their mental health in the context of their migratory journeys? And how does art as a research method allow immigrant women to express their mental health experiences related to migration? I will use a constructive grounded theory by Sharma as my methodology, and I will hold 4 virtual weekly groups of scrapbooking, and 3 groups, including 6 to 8 participants in each group, and 18 to 25 participants in total, who will create their scrapbooks throughout those 4 virtual weekly scrapbooking workshops. And then there will be an individual interview afterwards. And each session will take between 2.5 to 3 hours, and there will be a theme for each session grounded in the research questions. The first session will be focusing on trust and building rapport. The second will be focusing on mental health and well-being. The third will be focusing on social relationships and social support. And the fourth or a final session will be for wrapping up and sharing scrapbooks and sharing and telling the stories. I will collect video recording of the beginning and the end of sessions, also video recording of individual interviews, and photos of scrapbooks and handwritten notes, including memos and field notes. Hopefully, I will share findings of this research next year. And thank you very much for listening to my presentation.